So it's the CONCACAF is on our new World Cup qualifying format. So we're in the first round currently. Start over. All right. So welcome everybody to Total Sport Live. This is our first face-to-face live that we're having. Very special edition as we get ready for Trinidad and Tobago's first World Cup qualifying game against Guyana. Joining with me, an illustrious panel of guests here today. Joining me here, Shemaiah Gordon. We also have Point Force and Civic head coach Dexter Cyrus. And finally, last but not least, Coach Shawn coaching Presentation College and Queen's Park Cricket Club as well. Right, so again, before we get into the actual show, we just want to remind viewers out there how Trinidad and Tobago is getting towards the World Cup. CONCACAF is under a new format for the World Cup qualifiers, so it goes like this. CONCACAF teams that are ranked 6 to 35 based on the FIFA rankings, they are joined into 6 groups and they play in 5 single round robin matches. Trinidad was ranked 11th in CONCACAF, so that's where we are in our predicament. The winners of the six first round groups will play in a 2-legged home and away series in round 2, right? And these winners will advance to the final round, which is not a hexagonal anymore; it's more of an octagonal now. So these three winners will join the likes of United States of America, not Canada. They in the group as well. USA, Jamaica, Honduras, El Salvador, and Mexico as well. In the final 8 to go to battle off. So 3 of those teams will enter into the World Cup, and the 4th place team will play in our intercontinental final. Alright? So guys, Trinidad and Tobago versus Jamaica. The last time we saw these guys play, last time we saw football from these guys was in 2019 during the World Cup. We had a 1-1 draw there. How confident are we going into this game? Yeah, against Guyana, my bad. How confident are we going into this game against Guyana? We start with Shemaiah here.
As I was saying, I am a little nervous because you're not sure exactly what you're going to get out of both teams actually. There's a new coach, a new way of thinking for the squad. So I'm a little hesitant to say if we would win or if we would lose the game, and that's why I'm nervous at this point in time.
Okay. Coach Cyrus?
I am a bit unsure. We're going in blind, and based on the last outing that we had with Guyana, we had to come from behind in the Gold Cup to get a draw, right? It wasn't a very good performance for us, but Guyana, on the other hand, judging, if they have to judge from the last time they played us and their preparation, I think they would be very confident, right? They would be very confident also based on the fact that everybody would have seen what happened to us against the USA in our one warm-up game, right? So I think this game, I think we have to work for a result in this game. I think we're going to have to work for a result in this game.
Coach Cooper?
Well, I'm unsure of the coach's tactic. Coming out from the last game, I think probably that's his philosophy. And in saying so, when you pick a system, you have to pick players to suit that system.
Right.
If he's about to play the same way, I think we're short of a number 9. We're short of a target man, because I think the way how we played, we will need someone to hold up the ball and invite the midfield to support. And I'm looking through the personnel, and I'm not seeing that sort of player. A player like Kenwin Jones, who could keep the ball and invite players coming off the number 10, 7, 11.
Right.
So I'm not sure if he's sure how he's going to utilize the players. What I believe is that I am seeing he has selected soldiers who he had with him at Jablote. So I don't know if he'll use the trusted and tried soldiers but this is international football now,
Yeah.
and it's an entirely different ball game. So we are uncertain, but we are hoping for the best.
Right. So now you guys say that we don't have a true out and out striker. The lineups haven't surfaced as far as we know. But look, going into the game, what you think would be the formation that Fenwick could use going against Guyana?
As you say, more go with the 4-3-3. Again, we as Coach Cooper said, we don't really have a strong talisman on top. So having the two extra players on the wing may actually help guide them. Again, from earlier discussions, we say we were thinking about putting Market as a 10, suggested by Coach Cooper, which is actually a really good idea, being reading that we have Kalim Highland and Bukad coming back.
Right.
In my opinion, I would not have chosen Bukad, but so far we go on. And having a strong defense, such as Abubakar, Batua, David, and also having Archer, could also make a difference in the game.
Yeah, I really like especially that back four, especially with Abubakar and Batu. They've proven before that they could hold up with the best of CONCACAF, especially in that 2015 Gold Cup. But seeing as though we don't have a true striker per se, would you think that maybe one of the wingers would have more of a free movement kind of role going forward?
Levi is playing as a 9. Levi is a number 9 for AEK Athens.
Yeah.
And
playing really good football at the moment.
Yeah, he's playing some good football. He has a couple of goals every week and that kind of thing. Levi, as a 9 in Europe, he has to come to Trinidad and he has to tell himself, I have to deliver. Because he's playing as a 9 in Europe. When was the last time we had a centre forward score a goal for Trinidad and Tobago?
In Europe?
Playing in Trinidad and Tobago colours. I think we're going on 3 years now with that, right? So as Shawn was saying, we lack the conventional, traditional 9 because Levi has plied his trade all his life, bringing the balls from the side. The coach in AEK Athens has decided that he would play him as a 9, and I think that Levi has to carry the brunt of the goal scoring, right? As far as formation, I think it would be 4 with 5 in midfield and 1, right? The 2 wingers could join, when we have the ball or when we go into the next half, and those same 2 wingers drop off when we don't have the ball, But I think we're gonna have to honestly feel that against Guyana. Guyana has been in camp since September last year. They have been in camp since September last year. Guyana has been pumping a lot of money into their football since they got those oil finds off the coast, those 13 offshore wells that they found. They're pumping a lot of money into the football, right? I think they now have a facility, artificial surface, a normal grass surface, a sand surface. Ghana has been putting a lot of money into the football, so I think we're in for a game. We're in for a matchup today.
And Coach Cooper, what do you think in terms of the lineups?
Well, there is no good and no bad system. What system do you choose for the competition? What position are we in now? Are we going to consolidate? We don't know what the coach is thinking right now. We don't know if the coach is going into the game thinking positively or negatively. I could tell you that being in his position before, playing in a World Cup qualifying game, you always second guess yourself, asking yourself, enough preparation for the game. Dexter was experienced lineup, and I'm very wary that if those players recognize that the tactics of the coach is not working, I think they will go into self-preservation. It is not the right thing to do, but he's bringing back Bukad and Highland, and they are more organizers. If you look at the pattern of play from the last game, he was asking the players to play that penetrative ball and then support. But if we're doing that, we need someone at target man to hold up the ball. We need that focal point. If we don't have that focal point, I think we run into problems. So the system depends on the competition, depends on the quality of players we have, and this is how you choose a system to play. We have not scouted the Guyanese because pandemic, they haven't played much games, so we have no idea. What we could gather from the coach's comments he made, he seems to be a very experienced coach because he spoke about transition, he spoke about organization, he spoke about using the speed. So we have an idea, and then when we look at he dropped his main scorer, and he said he was picking players to suit his system.
Right.
And I don't think our coach did that. And then he more or less complained that the players didn't play what he asked for. But if you are picking playing a particular system, you have to select players who could fit that system. They may not be the best national players, but they may be the players who could get your system working for you. So in saying so, I'm not seeing 4-3-3 because that's a very attacking system. I am more seeing 4-2-3-1, and as Dexter said, the 7 and 11, well, we call in positions, they may not wear 7 and 11 on their backs, but we're talking about a 7 is a right midfield, a 11 is a left midfield. Have them join the number 9 and the 10 going up, and then we need the 8, which Highland may play, joining. So this is why I said I have the feeling that Bukad will play because he's a good organizer. When you look through the squad, basically it's only Highland and Bukad are the both defensive people who could organize at the back there. Muckett could organize, but I think with the absence of Molino, you need someone to unlock defenses, and if they are playing compact, as he said, and organized, you will need Muckett to play those telling through balls, for the on-rushing guys at the side of the park to get the ball across.
Yeah, speaking of Muckett, actually, when we were playing the USA, me and Shemaiah and I actually noticed that when Muckett came on, he raised the tempo of the game. The team looked a little bit more life, looked like they had more life in the team, and they had more tenacity and whatnot. Do you think that Muckett could be that X factor going into this game against
Let me ask Dexter. Let me deal with this because I know Dexter could deal with it. But what I want to ask both of you all is that Muckett, what sort of passes they were making? Because I coach Muckett at U17 level, and I know the ability of that young man. Very, very talented. But you realize they were in our defensive third of the field, square and back when America actually pulled off in the last 15 minutes. They kind of way pulled off and said, all right, let's see. And they were kind of way inviting us to come to get the room behind our backs. So now Muckett and they had room to play because no pressure was on them. But if you realize in the first 15 minutes, they were actually pressing Jones and Fortune because they were the ones in the middle of the field trying to organize. So they could not pick their heads up to play a forward pass.
Right.
And this is the problem here. Square and backward passes look very nice, but is it interfering with the organization of the defensive team?
And he was also playing in a 10-yard radius.
Yeah.
He wasn't really running anywhere.
So the coach said,
He wanted the foot and playing.
yeah. So the coach said we had possession, but where we had possession, and was it
Right.
negative possession or positive possession? You know, so food for thought.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also thinking about Juven Jones, one of my favorite players, especially going into this team. There was some there was some debate of where he should be played. Some think that he should be playing in the back as the traditional left back, where he played in Sounders, where he had all that success. But when it comes to Trinidad, I think he sometimes plays more as in that winger role, more up front. So where do you think would be the best place for Juven Jones to play? Personally, I want to see him up top. I want to see him strike. I want to see him on the wing and attacking to try and see if we get some pressure on Guyana.
I think closer to the opposition goal. I think if he's playing a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1 or 4-5-1, I would play Juven outside left on the midfield. Just because of the fact that when you look at Trinidad over the past maybe 3+ years, we haven't been scoring many goals. The people who have the potential to score, you want to get them as close to the goal as possible. So, and Juven is one of those players. He has the potential to score. He has also the potential to assist.
And we've seen that a lot when he was playing with Seattle Sounders, especially.
So we want to get him in the final third, and not with the responsibility to have to chase back the defense. Right. So I'm thinking higher up the field. Yeah, higher up the field. Even I saw him play. I saw him play that number 10 behind the centre forward also. He can play that. Right. So we don't know what Coach Fenwick is going with, but him closer to the goal in this game, I think it would be an asset for Trinidad and Tobago.
Shemaiah, see a fixing up your face.
I'm paying attention. To be honest, I'm not as qualified to be as coach as these coaches next to me. But for me, I would have said, watching these players and the pool that was drawn, having players that are quick for midfielders, which is Levi Garcia, and having Tefla and Tefla, they will put Tefla on top of Jones, meaning that he could always have a supportive player behind him.
Right.
They will still have the pace going up on the left side, with Jones overlapping, but having Jones there, he's still somewhat of like, I want to say, a statue for that position. Now, you made a perfect point, because if I was saying, I would have put him as the far left mids as well, that they were playing that position,
So
because he has shown the possibility of playing that position already countless times.
Right.
But based off of my formation, I would have had him.
All right.
back.
So we dealing here with, and this is what I was speaking about with systems, patterns of play. So Dexter, Jones, we could get him up the path. If we push, let's say Levi is playing the number 11, and you push Levi up the field, right? And you send Kenwin, you push Levi inside, you send Kenwin on the outside, and you bring across the back three. So we go with three in the back when we attacking, and you have probably, if you want, the two sitting Highland and Bukad sitting in front the back three, So now we have sufficient people up front. Sometimes we look at players and we say, all right, they're playing closer to goal, but are we looking if they are playing in front of the ball or how they are more effective? Whether they receive the ball or they're making runs from the back. When he's playing with Saunders, he makes runs coming from the back, right? And then they could open him, and then he's running at the defender now, and then he could do his stuff. When he's playing with Molino, it's a different ball game because they have that understanding, Carenage understanding, So they could, you have that 1-2.
But also the factor that what we factored in for Jones is that Trinidad hasn't scored many goals for the past 3 years. He is one of the guys who can score. So I'm thinking, once we have a player who could score, we have to put our potential goal scorers, we have to get them on the field and play in a way that we can get all these players as close to the game.
And as I said before, system deals with the position you're in the league, you know, what you intend to get out of the game, you know, how you play roles and functions of players. So we could be here just guessing and not actually planning the way that Coach Fenwick will plan the game.
If we use the little ingredients, right, that we would have gotten from the one practice game against America, the lack of preparation. They played on the 25th and the 28th.
And say kids already on top of the table already.
Right. We're playing Puerto Rico. It's good now that Puerto Rico will have lost. So we're going to meet Puerto Rico in their second game, which is our second game also, right? With their heads down a bit, right? Putting all those factors together, right? You have to ask yourself now, what do I do in this game based on getting a result? Can't lose. Even if we draw, we beat Puerto Rico, we have 4 points. Even if we draw and we beat Puerto Rico, we have 4 points, and we can build from there. But we can't lose. We can't go and take a 2 or 3 you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No.
So, as we were talking about speculating, we don't have to speculate more because we have the lineup actually right now.
Nice.
Okay.
So, in goal we have Nicholas Frender from Norwegian.
And he's in goal because he's active.
This is active. We have Aubrey David. To call on the rest of the lineup in no particular order, numerical order.
Aubrey David will be playing at right back.
Aubrey David, we have Sheldon Batwa, we have Ryan Telfer, Robert Primus, Joven Jones is starting along with Kareem Highland, we have Levi Garcia, as well as Neville Hackshaw from India 11. We have Michael Poon Angaroon, I hope I pronounced that right. And finally we have the Watford youngster Daniel Phillips, he's also starting today as well. So what do you think about that lineup?
Well, I have to see that lineup.
I want to see how we put them on the field now because it's something Punagarum and
No, well, what I could say is that from what I told you before, Primus and Batu played for Terry Fenwick at Jablute. That was his centre back pairing.
right.
So as I said before, he'll go with the tested and tried soldiers.
Right.
He's a customer. Aubrey David, we have Joven Jones.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Joven Jones is starting.
Okay, so Neville Hackshaw will play defensive midfield with Kalim Highland, and then he may have Poon Agaran playing the number 10, and then who are the other players?
Telfer.
And Daniel Phillips.
That's right.
I'm thinking the Daniel Phillips ball
That's right.
midfield.
That's right. And
That's Levi Garcia.
And Levi.
so Levi may play. Telfer may play the 9,
And Levi play outside.
Or they might rotate.
or they may rotate. Very interesting squad.
No, we've been talking about Trinidad and Tobago naturally, so but we also have to look at our opponents as well. We don't have the start lineup for them per se, but they do feature, if I'm not mistaken, 9 debutants in the side. So how would so looking at that, how much of a factor in experience would play going into this game for them?
As Shawn said, right? Shawn said that the Guyanese coach is very experienced, right? He did not stray away from what he wants to do. He knows I wants to do this, and he picked a team to do this, right? The top score, when I have the ball, I'm coming at you. When you have the ball, I'm coming at you. I'm pressing you when you have it, and I'm coming at you when I have it. His team selection tells you that immediately. Once you know your personality, once you know what you're about as a coach, you will know from the team selection what the coach intends to do. See that those young legs, plenty piece.
only thing he has on the team is the oldest player as the captain.
Right.
Which might be show experience.
Well, right, but then
This guy
that
doesn't
what we call it oldest.
The oldest player on the team is 32, and he's the goalkeeper. The other
outfield players
is 30.
Everybody's under 28, I think.
30, the captain is 30.
Right. So that oldest, what we call in there, at 30. Our oldest, we have a whole heap of 30s. And then Bukar is 36. Marvin is 35.
Yeah, similar to what we did in 2006, but except these, I would say that these players are on the standard of what this 2006 squad was.
Right. If we have to go back to Bukar and not play, then what's the point? If we have to go back to Bukar and not play, what is Bukar doing there? If I pick in Bukar at 36, I'm picking him to play.
But guys, I am now fiddling with the
Formation?
And he could be using a 4-3-3. Play 3 in the middle with Highland sitting in the middle with Hackshaw being a left footer and Boone playing on the right side there. You know, because actually that is what he played the last game. And then he have Levi
flat across.
Right. And then you have Levi Telfan, who's the other guy?
Daniel.
But who's playing this
Daniel Phillips. Well, what
I'm thinking Poon Agarone is here and Phillips is here.
I am feeling that Telfa is playing here. Telfa is playing the 9. And the young guy Daniel will play probably on the right side.
Isn't he a midfielder? He's a winger.
He's a midfielder, but as I said, in the eye of the coach.
In the eye of
We right now making assumptions.
Yes,
in the eye
of the coach.
Right.
Always the coach's vision.
Telephone one wing and Levi and another wing is good. But then who points? Who plays the 9?
And this is what I am saying is that since Kenwin Jones and Stone John,
We really haven't
we have not
established number 9.
established a number 9, even though you have players who could get down, dynamic players who could get down the side of the park and cross, we don't have good headers of the ball.
Most of our strikers are
Yeah, true.
Also, we do have good crosses in the ball.
Also very true.
Well,
It depends on a good day or a bad day.
Yeah. Also, we do have good crosses.
it all depends on how you try to free up, and this is what I am saying.
Yeah.
How you could use Jones coming from the back and getting the ball across. You know, so very interesting lineup. Not one I would have selected, but
I'm not saying the Poon Agarone boy, but at the end of the day, that's true. We are the coach.
And we are the coach. And
We are the
coaches live and die by the decisions they make.
Yeah, by their decisions.
Like, over my assumption, I would believe.
This, we could have seen this.
Yeah.
I could have seen the goalkeeper the other up.
I mean, Primus is solid.
Yeah.
I think, you know, why I said both guys sitting in front, because not Bato, but Abu Bakr have the experience, but he's a bit slow.
Yeah.
And seeing the pace, this is why I said
He's been
if you
training
are
with
the
us.
two,
He's been training with us strong. I've been training strong. Right? So we could have seen this Federer.
Yeah.
He's active.
He's active and he's been playing.
Right? Marvin has experience, but Marvin is inactive. So inactive at 36, you might, that little reflexes might be there, right?
Especially against the young team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question for you all. Is this a game to actually have two young guys? The importance of this game, having Daniel and Poon
I wasn't saying
And
Poon.
I
wasn't saying Poon Agarone and the Daniel boy. I wasn't saying that.
I was actually saying Bukar and
I was saying Bukar because
of the nature of the game. We are not too sure if
they are
Bukar is playing any games.
I think he played a few tiers now.
But what I'm saying is that what you need in the start of the game is the experience to settle down the team. You need that experience to settle down. We are playing away from home. Okay.
We playing. It's our home game.
It's our home game.
We are neutral ground.
We are playing away. It's our home game, but we are away from home.
We are away from home.
So again, you need the experience, especially in the middle of the park.
You need to be conservative. I honestly think that we need to be conservative to start the game. Right? The memory, right, of the American game.
Yeah, it's so fresh.
It would be, it's right there. It would be on the players and their minds. So just judging from that game alone, after getting 7, you need to know the coach would actually say, "Hey, we don't pick up no early goals.
Right.
Let's stay in the game as long as possible."
No, I can't make the case for who, right? I can't really make the case for Daniel Phillips either. No, I've seen that he's one. I think he's one you player of the Watford Academy. Unfortunately, we don't have any coverage of the Watford Academy players play, right? But from what I could gauge, he's talented. He's played in the Europe system, in the English system. So I have a little. I want to say I have a little bit of belief in him. Right. But again, I have not seen him play either.
I think again we go back to the points that you were making.
Yeah, in terms of the experience and so.
They played in Europe,
But
how do they
it's a
play
different
in the
game
system of Trinidad?
and it's a different game in CONCACAF too.
You-
I could have also
You realize what this means, right? You realize what this is saying? You realize what this starting 11 is saying? This starting 11 is saying that Coach Terry Fenwick did a complete 180. There is nobody here
that was
who played in the USA game.
So they have
Yes,
they have a more mentality.
No, this could work. No, this could work twofold. This could work in a way where if Guyana think the 7 against America, we come and hold it, and they come, we draw them out to us.
But at the same time, this is not the same team.
This is not the America. This is not the America. The team that play America. So this team now we could come to them and hurt them. At the end of the day, we Trinidad and Tobago sell them. Trinidad and Tobago has been Caribbean champions. We have been a footballing powerhouse.
You have been a Caribbean champion.
That's not the friendly.
You have been a Caribbean.
Yeah, it's not the friendly. I'm not a Caribbean champion in formation.
Right.
We didn't get into that. We didn't get into that.
Right, so we have about 5 minutes again before the match starts. Right, so I just want to get you guys final predictions on the game. What do you think the end result's going to be, and how we're going to look going into Sunday?
I can only give you the predictions going into the half because this team can throw more off guard, but I could see that we're drawing. We could either draw in the first half or be up by 1. Because again, we're not sure exactly what Guyana is coming with, and that's what my predictions for the first half. I'm not sure.
I want Trinidad to do well, but I can't predict it. I can't predict. I honestly think it's easier to predict the Puerto Rico game. But this Guyana game, I want Trinidad to do well, but I feel that I would be able to give you something based on our first 15 minutes, right? And then see how the rest of the half pans out and who we start the second half. And see whether I think Trinidad and Tobago could do this or that or what. But now, based on this 11 here, it has some things in the 11 there what I really didn't predict. So I don't know if he's going conservative. I'm not sure, So
Well, definitely he's not. Fine, definitely he's not going conservative.
They're not going conservative there.
It's not conservative, and probably he's going to play with the same patterns from the last game.
Right.
And again,
I hope not the high line. I hope not the high line. Not the high line. Not that high line. That line against America. Well, that wasn't even a high line. We can't call it a high line.
From his looking through his lens and the way how he analyzed the game, how he intended to get space behind the back of the opponent was a little mind-boggling to me. Probably I am not at that level yet. tactically.
Which game?
The game we played against America, how he wanted to exploit the space. So what tactics he was using to exploit the space. It's a bit mind-boggling to me. I mean, if I'm looking for space behind the opposition's back, I will start at a low line of confrontation, start at line 2, and invite them to come at me.
Obvious.
And then play on the transition.
Give up the space behind you.
Yeah.
And
So the most dangerous space on the football field is the space behind your back.
behind you.
Right? And what he actually did was he was asking our defenders to play and push to trap the opposition. But when we played the ball, again it had nobody holding up the ball. So while they were coming forward, the ball was coming towards them. So the transition took place and we were still in transition. We were still in our offensive transition when the opposition was in their offensive transition. So we had a lack of organization in defense.
The first thing is, Shawn, from the
Okay,
so the time you have to go.
right. The game's gonna be starting like in a minute, right? So we're gonna cut you guys. We're going to organize to watch the game. We'll see you guys back at halftime. But Trinidad and Tobago versus Guyana, first half coming up, and we'll see you again at halftime.
Shawn, me, I Go to touch off and to do. Game over.
Just in them 4 arms.
Did you try to get that? Who's that? Oh, sir? No. You start.
What are we going to do?
Piano? Plug for that one.
Oh, okay.
My bad. Charge it. They charge it. My phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see that. This one.
This? Yeah, that's what I think. Alright, Quince. That's not Josh, it's going to be shot.
This is what I am.
Get it right. Small thing, just plug it in and get it working.
We need to go.
Yeah, I just start focus now.
Wow. That was a half. Is it expecting that to what?
Shit, that's it in the camera. Right, you ready? Judge, everybody, go knife 3, 2, 1. Back to you.
And welcome back everyone to our halftime show here. Very interesting to say the least, but is the result that we have been looking for. Trinidad and Tobago 3-0 versus Guyana with goals from Levi Garcia as well as Ryan Telfer and Sheldon Matwa as well. 1-0, it should have been 4-0, but we're going to get to that in a bit. But panel, how do we feel after that explosive first half?
Well, I'm trying to be really unsure. I feel good, but what I wanted to see from Trinidad and Tobago, I didn't see. Trinidad and Tobago, we were not playing very well. I think that some of the outlet balls were a bit high on the road and that kind of thing. When we put the ball down and pass it around, we look much better. My disappointment is even greater in the fact that the Guyanese team is actually looking like they look lethargic. I don't know if they're tired or what, but that Guyanese team that I'm looking at, I'm disappointed in the fact that Trinidad and Tobago is playing that way against that team.
Shawn, what do you think about that?
I agree.
I was not expecting this level of play from both sides actually. I was expecting a higher level of play from Guyana. I know that Leslie they're not playing as much as them new Deltons, but before the game and the pre-game we're talking about how the coach for now, he tried to stick to his serious about his new players. So we made the assumption as usual that we are expecting great things from these Deltons, but with the play, we see that we still lack the experience. Because of shortcomings of Trinidad's extent, because we have the experienced players playing to the same level as the Guyanese players right now. Let's let you know up, but we can not about that. We like to score, we're seeing that play to go to do. What do you think?
Well, firstly, tactically, we are seeing that the Trinidad took a different approach with a deeper line of confrontation, as I said. So we exploited the space behind. We realized 2 goals basically scored from that. We also saw that Ireland playing in a different way, playing movement and playing around actually is the organizer of the team, certainly. And the way Guyana is approaching the game, it is still a new for us, because I am seeing a lot of mistakes taking place in our defensive play in terms of the passing and ball handling, and a team of better quality with more intensity, but there is a pressure on us, because if you realize the score should have been
they were more clinical, the score should have been 3-all. You know, but in the post, we just saw 2 against 1, about 2 or 3 occasions. All decision making that resulted in the game as it is, 3-0. But the quality of play, we are also still seeing some of Coach Fenwick's set pieces in terms of patterns of play where he's trying to play the long ball over their number 5, which is their left wing back, and their number 2, the right wing back, trying to play the long diagonal ball because it seems every day we're trying to play the long instead of linking up to the midfield or the midfield, you know, having the room to play. So for our first game, I think it's a bit disappointing in terms of the quality of play, but we will take a victory, seeing that it's our first game really with all the major guys, the major players coming together for the first time after a long while. I'll take the scoreline, but as I said, I'm not too pleased with the performance.
Well, I mean, like the performance, but especially in our first game, especially against coming off the last game that we played, it's definitely a step in the right direction. You guys talked about mistakes from the Guyanese team. We thought this game should have been 4-0 if it wasn't for miss, and I say miss in the nicest of ways possible for Joven Jones. I guess the question here is, what was Joven thinking for that penalty?
I can't go based on what I saw. I can't put my focus on Joven. We got the Guyanese keeper made 3 saves. So at the end of the day, we have to say excellent to the Guyanese keeper. Yeah, right. Joven actually faked him on the second occasion, and his reflexes was so good. He put his hand up and made the second save. He stuck his foot out and made the third save. Now at the end of the day, we say a penalty is a goal, but the goalkeeper made 3 saves on a penalty, I think. So I can't really focus on Joven. I have to say hats off to the Guyanese keeper. With that being said, the same Guyanese keeper went from 0 to 0
less than 7 minutes.
in about 7 minutes, right? Where he caught in 2 minds, whether to hold the ball or not, just outside the box, and the ball slipped through his hands, going through his legs, and Telfa is tapping into empty net, right? The scoreline doesn't really reflect. I mean, okay, so let's say that penalty had scored, but then Trinidad and Tobago 4-0.
It's still the
scoreline doesn't reflect the quality of the match, and doesn't even reflect the quality of who's in the lead. Because when we look at when Trinidad and Tobago would have reached in the final third, right? That final third play, you see a lot of wasted up balls being kicked high over the bar, balls being miscued. I'm thinking maybe they're having a little problem with the turf.
Yeah,
maybe
the surface does look a little bit soft.
Yeah, the surface maybe looks a little hard to maneuver, but other than that, you can't, somebody not knowing the scoreline can't look at the game and tell if our team is actually leading 3.
Cooper, who did you, well, in terms of in terms of the product that we put down so far, who has surprised you the most from the game so far?
In what way?
In terms of taking the first look at the team, what we discussed earlier, in terms of who we thought was going to be the prime candidates of who's going to get this team ahead. Who do you think has anyone from the team surprised you in terms of the performance? Or
well, not really surprised, but I say Joven and Levi, they are the ones who being dynamic, stretching the team on the wings, so in order to give the midfielders enough room to play, but in saying so, I have not seen the intensity that the Brazilian coach, the Guyanese coach said he was. It comes like a pre-match interview or with MMA. They hear the opponent talking a big game, what he's going to do, and he received the first blow, And then you realize, hey,
That's not, might be out of the way,
yes. And you are seeing the level, the lower level, as Highland said.
next one. Josh, what do you like?
Just now.
Get back up.
Now I'm just going to record. Yeah, 15 babe. Advantageous thing. In the sequence?
What do you like?
And we're back after Trinidad and Tobago has won the game against Guyana 3-0. Lots of mixed reactions from the game, even though it's our first victory. By the way, it's our first victory for Trinidad and Tobago in a football match since November 10th in 2019, where we played Angola to a 15-0 rout. But for us, after the second half, just during the game that we didn't look quite as positive going into this third half. What do you think was your thoughts going after this game in its entirety? Shawn?
The second half they went in knowing that they were going to win the game, but Guyana took control of the game and we struggled through the second half. We only had 3 shots on goal
Yeah, I think
in
it was
the
3.
entire second half,
Mm-hmm.
and not looking as promising for a team that is actually supposed to be at a higher standard in the CONCACAF.
Dexter, while that match was going on too, even though we were up 3-0, but we got a lot of yellow cards. I've noticed. What do you think? Why do you think the discipline was the way it was for Trinidad and Tobago, even though we were up at the half?
I think the players approached that second half very unprofessional, right? Highly unprofessional. I think it was a situation where us having 3 goals, realizing that the quality of the opposition wasn't maybe what they expected, right? I think that put the players in a particular place psychologically, and it showed on their feet and it showed in the performance in the game. That would result now in the way how we played that second half. We played that second half really, really, really poor. I didn't think we were able to put 5 or 6 passes in the entire second 45 minutes. That would also now spill over into why we would have been getting all these cards and so forth and so forth. I mean, we're leading 3. A midfielder is getting a card on the opposition, on top of the opposition box for a skate tackle and all these sorts of things. I don't think the emphasis should be that at that point in time. If we're leading 3, there shouldn't even be emphasis to score, right? The emphasis should be to keep the ball, keep proper shape, don't let the next team score, right? And try to keep as much possession as possible. Obviously, we're going to go forward if we have possession and score if the chances come, once the chances come. But I think we were really, really unprofessional in that second half, and it showed. It showed in the way that we played.
Cooper, thoughts on the second half?
I saw a continuation of what we witnessed against the USA team. Very disorganized, lack of focus, no game plan. Didn't see any game plan in how we went out there second half trying to break down the Guyanese team. Total unprofessional performance second half. It's a bit worrying.
trying to push the ball forward, trying to get some space going, but the chances were very few in between. But looking at Group F, currently right now, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Kitts, they are the only teams that won the game so far. We have Bahamas, and we have Bahamas still have to play against Puerto Rico, I believe. I'm not sure of the schedule yet there, but
I think it's 5 teams. Bahamas would have been on a bye.
right, so they will be on a bye. But you know, as it stands right now, we're looking good on top of the table. Well, not on the field, but in terms of just the position that we're on the table, we're looking decent. But what is Puerto Rico looking towards Sunday? What do you think on the Puerto Rico's mind?
Puerto Rico could have actually looked at that game and think that they could take us.
I feel like Puerto Rico is gonna look at it at a mental point of view, seeing that the players started to break down mentally. That's what pretty much caused Telfer to get the yellow card. He was being pulled, and his attitude towards what was going on is, I think that Puerto Rico is going to look at that and try to play Trinidad into that hand of getting the yellow cards, so they played more, let's say, quietly or less aggressive in the game.
We got 3 yellow cards after leading 3-0 in the second half, right?
Absolutely no reason whatsoever.
For no reason whatsoever. That's just based on the level of unprofessionalism that we were displaying, right? The Puerto Rico team, right, who we have to play in 3 days' time, I'm thinking that they're thinking, all right, they lost 1-0 to St. Kitts, but they're looking at the Trinidad team and thinking, all right, maybe we could do this or do that, you know, because Trinidad were very, very, very lethargic looking coming out of the back. We were making a lot of mistakes. A lot of times we tried to play one and we will make misplaced passes and all these sorts of things. The goalkeeper looked a bit shaky at times. So at the end of the day, going into the Puerto Rico game, I think Coach Fennick has some work to do. I think he has some work to do, and also we can't take anything for granted. We can't take anything for granted. Puerto Rico is Spanish opposition. It's a Spanish-speaking country. Do we play well against Spanish opposition?
History doesn't show that.
The Spanish-speaking Caribbean teams usually give us
some sort of trouble.
teams. Yeah, usually give us a fight. So you know we need to be mindful of these things.
You'd say you guys keep talking about fitness, and I think that's a topic that keeps coming up in Trinidad and Tobago football. That Trinidad, while we might have the players, we just don't have the fitness to probably go 90 minutes. So how do you think Trinidad and Tobago goes about this problem going forward? We don't have time to try and train them back into match fitness again. So how do you think Fenwick approaches it?
That's not a player thing. Trinidad and Tobago has to put a program in place. We need a template, right? So that we could churn out quality every 2-3 years.
But we're talking about fitness here,
right?
Not quality.
No,
of
well,
players.
you see.
Yeah, I'm not focusing on the quality of the players.
If we always have to go back to the players and who are in the early and mid 30s, how much fitness are you going to get? That is my point. You know? So having to go back to these players means that we can't find a younger one.
No, well,
Or are we saying that? Not going to cut you. Are we saying that? All right, this player who I trust. If I trust this individual, who the coach, I trust him. He would have played XYZ a certain amount of international games. He is active in a league in Europe, right? Am I going to take him out and put him in with somebody who I trust, who is active in a league in Europe? Do I get that same level? I think that might be the case that Fenwick might be making. But really and truly, to solve this problem, America solved the problem here when we knocked them out of the World Cup. They decided we are not ever going to be in this situation again. And they didn't reinvent the wheel. They realized that teams all over the world doing certain things, and they just adopted, and they have the money, and they tried to better.
But I think we dropped the ball here because we're speaking about fitness, and then we go into developmental programs. What fitness in a competition mode? It's different. How you prepare a team in a competition, your fitness. Now remember, we are playing on Sunday.
No time to think.
Right, so it's about recovery and then planning for the next game. Now, when you're doing periodization for fitness, you have a period to work with the team. Now, what we have realized is that the coach Frederick brought in an entirely different team to what he had started with and doing the physical work with. So these are players at different fitness levels in their league coming to play along with guys who have not been playing football. So let's Telfa plays in where? Canada football. They have been playing.
Yeah,
right?
It's a startup, and it's a startup league too. I think they started just 2 years,
Right.
3 years ago.
Right.
Jones, the MLS has stopped a while ago.
Yeah, they had.
Hackshaw, said thing. Primus in India, said thing. Aubrey David, league in Costa Rica, stopped a while ago. The guy from Poon are gone.
No, Aubrey and they in competition.
No,
Costa Rica.
They ended it. They won the league.
Yeah, but they're not playing.
But they're not playing.
They're not playing right now.
They're not
No.
playing right now.
Yeah, they're
Right?
playing. Costa Rica League playing.
They're playing right now.
Yeah, Costa Rica
Okay.
League playing.
Highland playing
Yeah,
right now.
Highland playing.
So we're looking at
4 to 5 boys.
4 to 5. 4 to
Because
5 boys not
because
playing.
Federer play.
Right.
The
The
So
goalkeeper is
we're
playing.
talking about the period in which they are playing now. Is it the early part of the season? When they play, or the late part of the season? So players may now be picking up fitness, now catching form. Players have different fitness levels here. And this is the problem we are having. When you're speaking about the US team, most of their players are playing at this present time at a top level, high intensity.
The US coach picked a squad without picking a player from the MLS.
Right.
So
Because their
everybody is in Europe.
developmental plan, what they are doing
Everybody
now
is
is
in Europe.
sending their players to European clubs to develop their players.
And academies as well.
So the academies are going over. So they're having partnerships with foreign clubs. It's no longer Bradenton and we're going through the ODPM and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, America sending
Right?
players
So
straight to Germany too.
they-
Yeah.
It's not that they have a new plan. They have changed the way in how they develop the players.
Yes.
So they haven't put a program together per se.
Right.
We agree with that.
Yeah.
Right? So we're looking at two different levels. So I always say when we play for World Cup, our preparation for World Cup, we are just trying to qualify out of CONCACAF. And when the Canadas, the USAs, the Mexicos, their preparation is geared to the World Cup. Our preparation is geared to CONCACAF.
Yeah, not to mention that America and those other teams, they already in the octagon, so they don't have to focus on what's going on in these group stages.
As much games as possible.
Yeah, which is also kind of this is also why I don't like this particular system that gives this qualifying format that gives these higher up CONCACAF nations already the easiest pathway to thing, because all they have to do is just go to the hexagonal, the octagonal now, and the teams that now coming in, they going through the gauntlet already, so they're probably like on the last legs or whatnot. But just before we get to the final part of the show, we just want to shout out to our sponsors here. So we're looking at Bigman homemade bread and catering service, Santa's the Hair and Wig King, and finally Mango Tree, and they are doing a giveaway where we're giving away 1 case of Coca-Cola. So just to look at it, just to look at the rules here on how to get in onto this promotion. You're going to follow Mango Tree at on Instagram at mango.tree_co. You're also following Total Sport Official at Total Sport Official. You type in hashtag Mango Tree in the halftime live stream to win. Oh, in the full-time live stream now. And you're also tagging free trends in the chat below. Right? And the winner will be announced on Friday 26th, and that will be tomorrow. Right? So going into the last last few minutes of the show here.
I may have a question, right?
Go ahead.
We were talking on the fitness level of these guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going into Puerto Rico, how do we begin to solve the problem of the fitness going into Puerto Rico game? Is that possible?
I don't think that's that's something that you can solve
all
on
you
the
do
dime.
now is recovery. Yeah.
So
no fitness.
How does, as a coach,
How do you coach around it?
Yeah, how do you prepare a team now to you see the level of fitness that these guys have? Some were not looking quite on point, and some look completely
Lethargic.
How, as a coach now going into the next game, what would be your next steps after recovery?
Your next training session, right, would tell you
Who to play.
what went on in that game, right? Who would have gotten a knock, who could play and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Your next training session will tell you that. You would have obviously have a team in your head who you're looking at to play in the Puerto Rico game, right? Because in both, once we could beat Puerto Rico, we good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good start. Whether or not we look a little shaky or whatever, we have 6 points. It's a very good place to start from. No point we playing real good and we lost.
Mm-hmm.
It's better you ain't play so good and you win. And then we could build from there. But everything about going into that next game when it comes to the players is about managing them physically based on recovery. It's 3 days. It's no magic one day to try things. All the little knocks with Highland and anybody pull or whatever is ice and treatment. And see if we could get them players and then back on the field again for Sunday.
In a position like this, seeing that there are 5 substitutes that you could use, I would have thought that the coach would have taken out his key players earlier, because basically the game was sold up.
Yeah. Rest them and get ready for Puerto Rico.
That's right.
Another thing we could look at is Sheldon Batua coming out.
So you have Sheldon Batua coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jones
Seems
coming
to be
out.
a groin, right? And you also had in the late half there Highland seemed to receive a knock on his ankle. And going in also, you have to look at the yellow cards, because what we are not looking at now, Guyana may still be a threat, but we still have to look at St. Kitts.
Yeah.
We still have to look at St. Kitts, because remember, it's only one team coming out of the group.
And St. Kitts already have 3 points.
They have 3 points also. So the focus now must shift from Guyana. We can't overlook Puerto Rico, but it must be shifted to looking at St. Kitts, what they are doing. Some one have to go out there now and scout St. Kitts, see what they're doing, and plan. And this is where the experience with your staff, your technical staff.
You're playing everybody once, right?
Yeah.
So Guyana is gone. Guyana is out.
Yeah.
Well, you can't say Guyana is out.
No, what I'm saying is for us, we don't have to deal with.
Right.
We don't have to play Guyana again. We don't need to scout them or nothing like that. Who's coming up?
Yeah.
Who's coming up? Because we need to scout St. Kitts because they would have won. Maybe during this period here, if we could look at the Puerto Rico St. Kitts game and watch at Puerto Rico also. Because tomorrow you need to do that on video. Puerto Rico played St. Kitts. Need to look at that game.
Now recovery.
St. Kitts playing Bahamas in next match.
Yeah, but recovery will be a little ticklish, because remember now we have to travel. So the staff right about now, probably, getting the boys to do some ice bath or a light stroll around in the pool to take out the lactic acid, probably in the morning, a stretch, some massages,
Serious
So,
massages.
so
Some ice.
you have to be in it. As I said, you could be a boxer, never gone into the ring, but you're speaking about a fight. The only time you'll know about a fight is when you get into the ring. And I'm looking at the staff, and I hope that Coach Fenwick uses Derek King, because he's not the head coach, but he has more international experience in game situation like these, tournament situations, than Coach Fenwick. So I hope he uses him in the best advantage, best way he could, And
Fenwick was actually dormant competitively for 7 years before we made him senior
he has
team.
not coached at international level.
And he has been dormant at club level too. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So
He was in the broadcast. He was
Yes.
broadcaster.
give
before
him his kudos.
Yeah.
He did what he did in the pro league.
Right.
But it's chalk and cheese when you come into pro league and the CONCACAF
And
level,
international level, yeah.
international
And
level.
speaking of Fenwick too, what is he looking at the team now? I'll say this will be our final question before we go off. But looking at what is Fenwick looking at the team now, and what is he telling the squad about what's happened in that match that cannot happen going into Puerto Rico?
We can't repeat that performance. We can't repeat that performance. We definitely need to possess the ball more, right? And we need way more quality in the final third. But we can't repeat that performance. We can't. That. I think that's the bottom of the barrel there. That can't be. We can't play worse than that. What it is, you could come and tap the guys on the shoulders about is here what you all got a good result.
Yeah,
You understand? It was very important that we kept a clean sheet. That's about it. I would have been way more disappointed if Guyana had scored one. Right? To be honest, when Sam came on, we actually got a little hope. He actually saw a little spark up front as though he could have scored a goal. Right? But other than that, the football wasn't there.
Guyana played the better.
Right? Guyana actually tried. Guyana actually tried to build up on everything. Yeah.
Well, as a coach, what I think he'll be telling the players is that we got 3 points, but the job isn't done. We have 9 more points to get. Yeah, because we want to really build our confidence coming out of this group in defeating the entire group, getting past them, gaining some momentum, going into the next round. Building some confidence in the younger guys. The guys who the debutants today. They themselves will be feeling confident. My first game and I got a victory, clean sheet, 3 goals.
The coach too. The coaching staff too.
So don't be on top of the mountain yet. We still have a lot of work to do. But 3 goals, 3 points, we'll take that.
Yeah, definitely.
And yes, we'll take that as well. Again, thanks to our sponsors. Again for the show. Bigman, who made bread and catering service, Mango Tree, and Santa's the Hair and Wig King. That's the end of our show tonight. We'll be looking forward to Puerto Rico on the 28th. Thank you to the panel as well, Coach